Hi, beautiful souls, namaste. Welcome to my channel. For those of you that are just dropping in, my name is Sadhana, and I'm an intuitive reader and healer, and I'm here today revisiting some readings that I did on December 29th, 30th, and 31st last year. And these readings were around your tarot card of the year for 2023. And I decided to spend a little bit of time, and I'm hoping to have this complete within a week. So if you don't see your card on my, if you don't see your card on my playlist, it will be there, and I'm hoping to get all of these recap readings done within a week's time. And today my intention is to do 4 of them. And so my process is to go back to the reading that I did at the end of last year and to review it. And honestly, I may or may not be drawing additional cards, but there was something that really called to me at this time in the wake of the full moon yesterday to sit in reflection. And I know a lot of times that people don't go back and review their year ahead readings or their card of the year readings. And I think this is really important to kind of check in and to see where we are, and just to, to tap in. It's time to tap in. So yeah, and I want to, yes, happy 4th of July to the Americans who are watching my channel, and happy belated Canada Day to those of you in the country to the north where I am. Yeah. Hi, Laura, Donna, welcome. And so I decided that I was going to begin with the Chariot reading, and to really sit, and the reason for this, of course, is that we are in Cancer season right now, and the Chariot is just so full of wisdom, and I think the potential for healing here is tremendous. So if this is your card for 2023, you have a 7 Chariot in a 7-year, 2023. 2 + 3 + 2 is 7. And 7 is a very magical number. It's a number where the previous 6 numbers become integrated at a higher level. And so this year, I feel there is tremendous potential for transformation. And these were the cards that were drawn at the end of last year, and I'm going to spend a little bit of time reflecting on them, and then we'll just see how it goes. And I may reshuffle any one of these piles. So for those of you that weren't aware of the process, I did the readings with the Margaret Peterson tarot, and then these are separated into suits. So everybody will get 1 card from each suit, along with their relative major arcana. And then I had 4 oracles on the outside, and I drew a card from each oracle. So that was my process. Okay, and this reading, I mixed up the cards because, Heidi, I was looking at the Chariot, reflecting on the white cat, representing the divine masculine energy. And so I put the 2 active suits on this side. So we have flames and feathers, fire and air on the side with the white cat, and on with the side with the black cat, we have the receptive suits and the receptive oracles. And this was something I did really spontaneously, and I think it's important that when you're doing your own readings, that moving cards around and switching things around is something that happens quite spontaneously. All right. Another thing you should be aware is that in these readings, we had a lot of repeating cards, and Daughter of Cups was one of them. And I would like to go to the words of Margaret Peterson and just share with you some of her words regarding the Daughter of Cups. And just let this segue me into where I'm going to go with this reading. My mother gave the gift of serenity and devotion to me. My father gave me tears, and my brother compassion. Safely resting in my own shadow, I drift along and reach my goal. The goal is inside of me, and I am being carried by non-doing. Wavelines, signs, and symbols are all sending messages from the realm of opposites to both hemispheres of my brain, and through the pores of my soul's skin, I hear the soft choruses of pulsating rhythms of water. Music flows through the network of my nerves and veins, and I travel upon the wave patterns of my skin and see myself through the eyes of others. I travel to the house of fear and hidden emotions, all the while knowing that my sister, freedom, lives there. An old reality dissolves and perishes, and tiny little phantoms hiding in the folds of my diaphragm lose themselves in the wind. I sense that all that lives is in a constant state of flux and will lead me to my creative source. So, these words are so beautiful. It is really interesting, if you are studying the Chariot card and taking it apart in its bits and pieces, high PT, and to really think about your container and that all that flows within your container. So if you have a Waite-Smith Chariot card or a Thoth-inspired Chariot, you're looking at something that is not moving. And I know a lot of contemporary decks have the Chariot in motion, but there's some sort of a protective layer that lives on the outside of the Chariot. And this is definitely here in protection. There is nothing greater than that level of protection for home and family, which is very much a part of Cancer energy, Charioteer energy. And this beautiful Daughter of Cups, who is so in touch with the experience of all that she has learned through multiple lifetimes. There's something in this deck that is truly magnificent in that there's a wisdom to each of the court cards. And we had a lot of court cards show up in these readings. And so if you do have these decks and you have been working with your card of the year reading, be sure to really sit and listen to the messages of the courts. She says that she travels to the house of fear and hidden emotions. And so when I'm thinking about this year for you, and this year of the Chariot, there is something that is hidden within the boundary of the Chariot. So if you want to, instead of a chariot, think about the crab and think about how the crab carries its home with it, or you can use a turtle metaphor, whatever works for you. It is protected, and there is a reason for that protection. I think there is a fear of vulnerability. There is a fear of completely opening up. And while being in a 7-year is an invitation into the flow of energy and a sense of vulnerability, there's a piece of you that will always cling on to a layer of protection. And I don't want to say that that is a bad thing. I want to say that this is just something to be really mindful of. And that layer of protection will evolve over time. So just like the crab releases its shell, when the crab molts, there's still a layer of protection. That raw meat is not completely exposed. We would have no crabs otherwise, right? They'd be eaten by the birds. And so just be aware of your layer, your level of protection. protection. I travel, she says, to the house of fear and hidden emotions, and all the while knowing that my sister, freedom, lives there. This is cardinal water energy. This is a big dive into looking through your emotional body. It's a new kick at the can, right? It's a new chance to explore your emotions. It's a new chance. It's a chance to explore your energy in motion, your emotions, in a slightly uncomfortable way. I feel like you have stepped up a level in where you might not admit to it, but I feel like you are significantly braver than you were before. And so as you enter into the second half of the year, continue to let those walls down. Test your comfort with exposure. Test your comfort with vulnerability. Because on the other side of each of those challenges that you have experienced is an opposite and equally important emotion. And I think working with your emotions and having an emotional diary, working with an emotional diary is really, really important. And this could involve even just a line a day. So what is my emotion of the day? And then you sit with that, you focus on that word, and then you find what is 180 degrees on the other side. And you acknowledge it, and you say it aloud, and you speak with it. So you get to know that on the other side of fear, there is freedom. On the other side of joy, there is sadness. And you choose your own opposites. The Chariot is a journey into opposites, and it's a journey into marrying opposites. And in your reading, this card from the Shamans Oracle, the intermarriage card, really speaks to the importance of embracing both. And Three of Feathers is not an easy card to show up. So what I'm really picking up on here is that the only way to release. I apologize. There's about 1,001 things I want to say here, and my mind is so full. So if things don't come out coherently, I apologize. We are in the wake of the full moon in Capricorn. Very powerful full moon energy. And this full moon sitting opposite to the sign of Cancer really brings this home for you. This is so important that you start to let these layers peel away. I'll get to that card in a second, Laura. And so this journey here, Three of Feathers, through grief, through sorrow, through loss. If you haven't gone back there yet this year, this is your year to heal that through understanding the whole, through understanding all of it, the whole picture. Now, this little card over here, the round card, is very much a, do you know the Dr. Seuss book, Horton Hears a Who, where Horton finds a microcosm, a whole other world on a speck of dust or on a dandelion pod or something, and Horton decides he's going to protect this life because he hears a sound within this tiny speck and realizes how small he is in this world, and yet how important he is in this world to protecting life. It's really, and this card very much taps into that. You are deeply, deeply connected and may have been hurt through relationship. I have a feeling that there has been a loss that has come through relationship, and part of your wound, your healing journey, is through understanding and finding a new balance of, and of course, of finding the beauty of both the sorrow and the joy, and being okay with their coexistence. The Chariot teaches us, the crab teaches us that we can't cling only to the joy. We must allow all emotion to move through us. Laura asked about the rock bottom card, and I think this is another card. Now, if you look at that image, we have a reflection in this image as well too, sort of as above, so below. As above, so below. I'm just going to go to my notes. So I said in the video in December, I am seeing a well. Are you aware that you have dug your own hole? I'm afraid, I said something to the effect of, I'm afraid that you're not aware that you have dug this hole. Now, the beauty of the well is that there's water in the well, which is a great element to tap into. It's great that you want to go deep, but a well is not the ocean. A well has a cement level of protection around it. So again, here you are creating a fortress. So I have a feeling that this year is one of getting comfortable outside of your fortress. Okay. All right, so rock bottom. As difficult as it may be to accept, it seemed that you've reached a point where you can go no further in the same manner in which you have been doing things. Perhaps you've hit a proverbial brick wall or experienced a deep sense of loss and don't know where to turn. I mean, this whole thing just fits together so beautifully. The old way of doing things must be discarded fully in order to move onward and upward. A new direction and a new strategy is called for. The only way through is to surrender. And I think part of that surrender process is to allow both. And right now I can feel my throat chakra. And that is perhaps you saying, well, I don't want the sorrow anymore. But I think the lesson here is that the sorrow will always be there. It is a part of who you are. And you can have the joy as well. The marriage of the joy and the sorrow is what you are learning to be simultaneously. In the inner marriage card, we see the sun and the moon, which is what we have at the full moon, right? We don't see the moon without the reflection of the sun. The moon is fully illuminated by the sun. There's a powerful energy here bringing together. And when I look at this, I think of the Ida and the Pingala nadis, the chakra medicine that weaves back and forth between all of the chakras and touches us. And we must heal each of the chakras with both masculine and feminine energy in order for them not only to be awakened, let alone healed, to be awakened. So this embracing of both is really, really important to you. Okay. Thank you, Donna, for explaining what's going on here. I strongly suggest that you go back And everything you need to know is in the series that I did in December. But I feel this is really important, this process, to expand on these readings and to revisit them and to look at them in terms of where you were then and where you are now. The Hunter of Honor. So in the Shamans Oracle, the hunters are connected to the element of water, to the river of life, to the flow of life. So all of these cards that were drawn for you for this Chariot year, whether you're reading this as Chariot as my card of the year, whether you are taking this as a reading for my sun sign of Cancer or my ascendant of Cancer, or however you are connecting to this reading, the cards are so beautifully connected. And I feel that any way that you can connect with the element of water, whatever season you are in, is important to enhance and expand on this journey, and to allow all of this to bring it into practice. Part of that practice is, I saw one suggestion was the journal. How am I feeling today? You write that emotion down, and maybe it's a joyful emotion, but part of the practice is to acknowledge the one that's on the opposite side. And each day you may want to have to write more about these words and how you feel about the opposites of these words. They both live within you, and this is your story, and it's a process of your journey through grief, and understanding that the way to heal your journey through grief is to know both, is to be both, is to live both. Okay, I would like to leave these cards on the table, and I'm going to draw an additional card for you from a rather vulnerable and emotional tarot deck known as Tarot of the Strange Branches. And I'm going to use this card just to expand I'm laughing at Donna's comment. Lots of water in July. Okay. And to tell you the truth, I don't think it's necessary to draw another card, but I know that you would like that, and it may help to enhance some of your reflections on how these cards weave into the story. Now, another layer here is that please acknowledge that what is on the this side is connected to divine masculine energy, so consciousness. Also our active self, our doing self, as opposed to our receptive self. And the receptive self, we want it actually to mirror the active self. And this is one of the reasons why I changed the cards around. And I think it's an important part of studying Chariot energy is to have a look at how I am being guided. Am I being driven by my left foot or my right foot? Okay. All right. So your additional card is the Devil. The Devil. Fantastic. Fantastic. Okay. Why do I say fantastic? Because I think the Devil is a card that gets us to look at these opposites, that gets us to say, okay, I will dance naked in the rain. I will dance naked in the rain. But yes, I'm going to be mindful of where I do it, because I know that the community that I live in isn't going to be very accepting of this behavior. However, that's not going to limit me from this experience. So for me, here's an example. I love to go skinny dipping in the ocean. And there's a time and a place where it's appropriate and not appropriate. Just because of other people and being respectful of other people. But that's not going to take away from my experience of the joy and the deep, deep connection with the divine feminine I experience from that. And yes, of course, I can enjoy my ocean dive with my swimsuit on, but that's a different experience. Play with both. Practice both. Allow yourself to move through your greatest challenges by testing the opposite. There's also another practice that comes through my yoga nidra training, and so what I was saying about that journal exercise, so let's just work with, well, let's use the one for the daughter, where the Daughter of Cups is working with fear and freedom. Fear and freedom. And so in this practice, you're in liminal space. So I would suggest lying down, getting relaxed, connect to your breath. And you can focus on your word of the day. Maybe it is fear. And so you allow the sensation of fear to fill your body. You feel it in your skin. You feel it in your heart and your gut. You feel it in your legs and your feet and your face. And you allow the sensation of fear to fill your body. And then you remember the other word, freedom. And you slowly allow the sensations of fear to start to wash away. And you begin to feel freedom in your heart and your face and your eyes. And your pelvis feels lighter and your legs feel lighter, and it almost feels as if your arms turn into wings. And you allow the body to feel freedom. And you allow the sensation of freedom to expand over the whole body. And then you practice fear. You allow the sensation of freedom to wash away. And you feel the fear in your gut, or wherever that fear is coming from, and you allow the sensation of fear to rise through the body. And you feel it. Maybe you shake, maybe you cry, maybe you're afraid of it, but you allow it to rise. And you practice going between freedom and fear, freedom and fear. And it might take you 20 seconds to shift back and forth. And eventually, you can do it just in a matter of seconds. Ah, this is freedom. Okay, this is fear. So that when you find yourself confronted with fear, you have a tool to get to freedom like that. It's an amazing, amazing practice. Yeah. Yes, with freedom comes responsibility. So I'm going to leave you with this, and I will be back very shortly. And hi, AP. No, I'm not taking personal questions today. I'm in a bit of a process of reviewing readings that I did late last year, and I'm going to be on for the next week doing these. So it will probably be a week or two before I'm doing personal readings. Okay. All right. I will see you very soon, and I'll be back on talking about the Strength card. Namaste.